This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. I'm joined by Keemstar over Zoom. It's good to see you again, Keem. How you
It's
doing?
good. It's good to see you. And I seen that Ariana Harwane shout out that he gave you. That's sick.
I love Ariel. Ariel's really cool. It's kind of like I was thinking this the other day. There's no sports reporter that's bigger than Ariel Hawani. Well, combat. I think we'll give it the combat sports reporter. There's no one bigger than him in the combat sports world. So it's good he's involved or kind of got his foot in the door with the crossover boxing. But we'll start with this though on Twitter. Trending today. Slim has decided to not to take the Slim has decided not to take the Saul Pappy fight. Your thoughts?
When you ask Ariel Harwani about influencer boxing, he has a couple names that come out of his mouth, right? You know, obviously the KSI, the Logan, the Jake Paul, but he always says Saul Pappy, right? Saul Pappy is like one of the few people that we've seen grow up in this misfit boxing arena that could eventually be a pay-per-view headliner. Like he's getting there. He's on his way, right? And so, Slim had kind of the same thing going, but he's been missing in action for a while. So like Slim needs to be on this prime card. He absolutely has to for his career, right? Him versus Saul Pappy makes so much sense. Everybody in this community wants that fight. The small council wants this fight. The only person I know that doesn't want this fight is Slim himself. He does not want this fight. He told Mams Taylor, okay, yeah, I'll fight Salt if Salt comes down to 165, like so we can get a clear advantage. Salt goes, okay, I'll go down to 165. Now it's a money issue. It is not a money issue, dude. Go look at the social media of Slim. Go look at the interactions. Go look at like when he fights and how many people talk about him and where that audience is coming from. Is it coming from Misfit fans or is Slim bringing his own fans with him to help the pay-per-view? Go look at those numbers, and I can tell you on paper, Slim is worth $100,000 at best. That is his real value. All right. He doesn't have a lot of fans. There isn't people chanting his "Let's go Slim, Hitman, Hitman." That doesn't exist. He's worth about 100K. He was offered 200K, and he said, "That's not enough money. I ain't doing it." This is a duck, people. This is a clear duck. And I'm so glad that we have the small council now, Fred, because now there's no more debate. There's no more spinning narratives. All right. Now we know 100% that this is a duck.
So why did Slim come out and say that he wasn't offered £200,000? Sorry, $200,000.
Because the way I understand it is it was like 150K, you win 50K bonus. That's
Okay,
that's
okay.
why. So it's just a play on words, right?
Okay. But even $150,000, that's a hell of a lot of money. I think one of the reasons why Saul Pappy is such a big star is because he consistently posts on YouTube. I remember the last fight he had against Andy Taylor. I'm going down to his gym to do an interview, and the cameraman's filming like what's happening. I did a little bit in his vlog, and he was filming his pad work. Saul Pappy posts on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, stays very active on Twitter, where I think the thing that Slim might be slightly lacking nowadays is he's not very active on the social media side of things anymore, where sort of Pappy is. And I think that's one of the things. I think I told Slim this many times. So I'm not. It's not like I'm baiting him out or anything. So I'm good mates with Slim. I told him many times he needs to make sure he stays consistent on the YouTube front, the YouTube side of things, which Saul Pappy has done, which is why he's such a big star. Which is
It's
why
not just that, but Saul Poppy always works the ring. He always works the fan base. He's always in there, and his fights
well, and
are
the main reason
entertaining.
is Saul Pappy's got a whole country behind him as well.
True. That's a whole nother angle, right? But it's not the people try to put Salt Poppy in a certain lane, like, oh, the Philippines is behind him. No, it's not just the Pauls talk about him every fight. Jake and Logan both say something, right? KSI says something. Like everybody likes this kid. They like watching his fights. He's entertaining. He works the crowd. The crowd, him versus AT, I was there. The crowd was, let's go Salt, let's go Salt, or Saul Poppy, whatever they were saying. Like, who else is getting chants like that? And
Mm.
Misfits, unless it's like KSI or whoever,
How badly did the loss to Annie Taylor I'm going to see. We're talking about Saul Pappy now. I'm going tomorrow morning down to his gym to go interview him. But how badly did the loss of Andy Taylor have an effect on like his overall brand? Would you say?
Very little, very little. I don't think Salt Poppy's stock rose from that fight, but I also don't think it went down because it's like he fought Anthony Taylor in his fourth fight. Like it was close. It wasn't like Anthony Taylor knocked him out or anything. I don't think it rose Salt Poppy doing that fight, but I don't think he lost anything. We're still right here, right now, sitting there saying we want to see Saul Pappy and Slim, right?
Hmm. What about, can we not move? Do you not think after an amount of time, because Slim, I guess, from this will probably get a lot of criticism unless he comes out of a reason. Do you not think that, and if Deji doesn't box on the KSI Logan card, do you not think that we could do a, well, that'd be difficult to decide the main event, a Wasabi Deji rematch followed by a Slim versus Soul Pappy fight, and you put that on pay-per-view, therefore judging how much value Soul Pappy brings pay-per-view wise? Having Soul Pappy and Slim as the main.
Um, you you went everywhere, and now I'm kind of like lost. Can you re-ask the question?
Well, I was just saying, what about how moving the Soul Pappy and Slim fight? Well, I guess Soul Pappy probably will still win the Crime card, but say he wasn't though, and say you did put a card on which was a pay per view. So I saw on Twitter today of your judging, you were saying that we can't estimate Soul Pappy's value until we see how many pay per views he sells.
I
Yeah,
mean,
JC Wasabi on the undercard, smashing pay per view there.
I don't even want to entertain it at this moment. I don't even want to, that could happen in the future, but I don't want to entertain it. I'm mad at Slim. You know, Slim is on record, sitting there saying, there's a video out there where he goes, look, I was begging Jake Paul. I was begging MVP. Just put me in the card. I'll fight anyone for any money. Misfits put me on. Misfits changed my life. Now I'm getting all these opportunities. I owe these guys so much. When it comes down to it, something changed. What changed in the last, like, I think it was 4 months ago when he made that video? What changed? Now he wants more money. Now he's ungrateful. Now he's ducking. And I even seen MVP respond to one of my tweets saying that this fight has to happen. The small council said so. And they were like, that's an embarrassment to the sport of boxing. It's one thing for fighters to demand fights, but promoters never should do it. Da, 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 da. Slim is welcome here at any time. Is he? Because before Slim was on Misfits, he's sitting there DMing Jake Paul, please put me on one of your undercards, and Jake Paul ghosted him. So it's like people quickly forget how the world was and how people got a name and how people blew up. Misfits has only existed for a year, people. It's been 12 months only.
Not even 12 months, 11 and a half even. The anniversary will be very, very soon.
So
there's nothing happening for the anniversary. There's no big party. There's no big event, is there?
There is now, because you just reminded me, and I'm gonna go remind man. Like, we gotta do something. No,
yeah.
I don't think there is, but there should be. You're right.
I'm surprised there probably will be. It's a thing Mams would like to do. But for Saul Pappy now, do you think Ashley Raxu could be a possible opponent? That's the only one that springs to mind for myself.
No. No. Salt Pappy deserves to fight a name. You know how I'd like to see Saul Pappy fight, right? Is Blueface. Blueface has won all of his fights. He's got a big name. Like, Saul Pappy deserves to fight a name. A name. I don't care about, Ashley Raxu is down.
Blueface is banned on his own, but I'll cut that little bit out.
Well, he was.
Maybe they might have changed it. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Look, no, you can keep this on. There was a moment where Blueface is banned, but he might not be banned anymore.
Okay. So they unbanned him then? They made a change in their adjustment?
It's being discussed. It's being re-reviewed.
Okay. So I can keep that in the interview then.
Sure.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Okay. Good. So apart from Blueface, because there's a video of Blueface hitting the pads actually it came out yesterday, so he's still in the gym. It's quite. I'd love to ask him how he balances his rapper lifestyle in the club and then in the boxing gym. So his coach will probably have a quite a hard time keeping him there. Anyone else apart from Blueface though?
I don't know. I want Saul Pappy to fight somebody with a name. I don't think it's I don't think Saul Pappy should fight any winner of Kingpin or any of those guys over in Kingpin because he's easily going to beat them. And I don't know what that does for Saul. Does that rise the stock of Saul? As far as I'm seeing from online and what people are saying, the Kingpin tournament, people don't really care that much about it. Like when I heard those pay-per-view numbers, I was in shock. Like, what did you hear for the Kingpin pay-per-views?
It wasn't very positive. I think that's probably quite a good way to put it. Without me saying the actual number, it wasn't very positive at all.
Fred, I heard 30,000.
I might have
30,000. And if
I might
that
have
is the
heard the
real
same.
number, don't cut this from the interview because that's what I heard. And I don't know if that's the truth, right? I'm not saying it was 30,000. I'm saying that's what everyone's saying. That's the same number you heard too, right? So it's like, if that's the case, you got King Kenny, you got Gibb, you have Nunez, you have all these names, and you put them together, and you can only do 30,000, right? Then nobody on that event is a name. None of them are a name. They're Saul Pappy deserves to fight a name. He deserves it at this point. He went and fought Anthony Taylor in his fourth fight for little money to help out, to be a company man, to save Misfits 7, which I think it did. It brought a lot of hype to Misfits 7. All right. He deserves a actual big name.
Well, regarding the Kingpin one, I guess you can look at my channel views throughout Fight Week and Fight Night to see how many people are interested, because I just do cover the influence boxing scene. So I guess you can have a look and compare events. In the Kingpin event, the views were a little bit less than usual. So I guess that's how I kind of judge events and the success of the kind of the public's interest. But the sort
Did
of
you hear 30,000 though?
Sorry?
Did you hear 30,000?
Yeah.
That's what I heard too. That's what everyone's heard. It's been talked about in spaces. So I mean, if that's not the number, Kingpin.
Well, I've heard 30,000. I've heard 30,000 from all the spaces and people like chit chatting in the spaces. So you might have heard the same sources, but that's what I've heard going around on Twitter. No one specifically told me, but I've heard it all. I've seen all the rumors on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not ideal. Let's just wrap this then. Moving on from Saul Pappy, Jake Paul fought the weekend against Nate Diaz. I was there, landed back here in the UK last night. The event in person was very, very good. 18,000 people were there, sold out. The crowd loved Nate Diaz. I didn't realize Nate Diaz was that popular. I think 80% of them were there for Nate. Obviously, they're kind of sporting Nate, and I guess they're there to see Jake Paul as well, but they weren't necessarily kind of cheering Jake Paul. They were going crazy for Nate Diaz, so he's got a very, very strong fan base. Unfortunately, after in the post press conference, he was saying he didn't really want to box on Misfits or do any influencer sort of thing, which is quite disappointing. What were your overall thoughts though on Jake Paul Nate Diaz?
I thought the fight was boring, but it was so bad that it was good.
I see
I liked how Nate Diaz worked the crowd, and look, at the end of the day, this is just entertainment. This is just entertainment. People are buying this to be entertained, right? And so there has to be some showmanship that goes into it. Nate Diaz clearly wasn't going to win that fight. So, him working the crowd, doing the guillotine, playing possum, acting like he's really hurt when he's not hurt. Like all that stuff is just awesome. Jake Paul's mother, Pam, giving him a fist bump at the end. I mean, I was laughing hysterically. I thought it was an okay event. But look what Jake Paul does, right? He fights people with a name, not necessarily that can box, but that has a name. And Nate Diaz clearly has a name. Him selling all those tickets and having that huge fan base there, him having Drake put a $250,000 bet on Nate Diaz beating Jake Paul. Jake is very smart and his management is very smart on their opponents. And this is what we got to start doing with Salt. Like, I don't want any of these kingpin people. I don't want Slim anymore. Like, I'm so done with this stuff. If Slim says today, like, hey, I'll fight Salt, fine, right? But if he doesn't fight Salt on this October card, on the Prime card, all right, I don't want any of these people anymore. I want names. I want Salt Pappy fighting names. He deserves to fight somebody that can actually sell, because nobody on Kingpin can sell. Gibb can't sell. Austin McBroom can't sell. Nunes can't. None of these people can sell. Slim can't sell.
Well, Nunes can sell. I think Nunes can sell.
30,000.
That was the part of the issue, yeah. But the Brazilian fans were all there for Nunes.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but Fred, didn't they like hit up all the Brazilian like group chats in the UK and be like, hey, $2.50 for you to go to this to see Nunes?
Yeah, I did hear that somewhere as well.
So it's like, bro, these guys cannot sell. You know who can sell? KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and I mean that's the who else? Who else can sell?
I think you named it there. I'm trying to have a little think.
I mean, Creator Clash. There's an argument that, you know, iDubbbz and his
I know,
wife
but
have
when
done.
you lose $250,000, it doesn't help the cause.
True, but they still sold what? They sold like 50K or something, or 100K.
I think it was 50. I believe it was 50.
Okay, 50K. So like, let's put this in perspective, because the people that watch your show are like fight fans, right? There's kind of like a weight audience over here, right? So let's put this in perspective. iDubbbz and his wife sold more pay-per-views when they were getting hate and they were getting canceled for kicking Froggy Fresh off the card than King Kenny, Gibb, Austin McBroom, Nunes, all of them combined. All the females. iDubbbz outperformed them. So let's actually put this in perspective.
We need iDubbbz to make a comeback. I don't know if he will. Any news on that? Do you think iDubbbz will box again?
I think so. 100%. He wants his moment. He wants his W. And at the end of the day, his wife makes all his decisions. So we should be asking Anissa if iDubbbz is going to box again, because it's up to her, not up to him.
I will not comment on that.
I could just picture iDubbbz like walking around his house, like all antsy, and, you know, him asking his wife, "Can I pee?" Like,
no, I'm sure iDubbbz is a lovely man. I'm sure he's good. Just one last thing before I let you go. The KSI 23 press conference is very, very soon. Do you think it'll be next week?
the first press conference is going to be really soon.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. Do you know who Logan Paul's opponent is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing, people, that it's Dillion Danis.
Wait, how do you wait. How do you not know, Keem?
Well, I mean, I know, but I'm guessing it's Dillion Danis. Guys, look, it hasn't been officially announced, but it's so obvious that it's Dillion Danis, right? So I don't care. Like, I'm not going to get in trouble. It's too obvious. You Misfits, it's your fault. You put out too many clues publicly online. It's your fault, not mine. So look, if it is Dillion Danis, all right, here's my question, Fred. How can you realistically put all this time and promotion and effort into a Logan Paul versus Dillion Danis when you know Dillion Danis is going to pull out? Like, it's like, it's not going to happen.
Well, I believe, I've been asked the question a lot. I believe they'll do something in the contract about money. They'll wiggle something in the contract where I can't quite say it specifically. But I believe they got something in the contract where if he does pull out, he loses X amount of money or something like that.
They got to do that, and they have to have a set backup already announced. Everyone knows. Like,
I'm very surprised though, because of what happened last time.
I'm not surprised. Fred, listen, Dillion Danis
is a huge star. He's a massive star, Dillion Danis. I will give him that.
Dude, he is such a bit. You might be sitting there watching this, viewers, and be saying, well, Dillion Danis doesn't even fight and he doesn't do this. But that's the point, bro. He is the troll. He is the shit talker. He is the bitch, if you will. Like, I'm not calling him a bitch. He'd whoop my ass. But he is the bitch of this fighting world, right? That's constantly talking shit, constantly getting in the fucking mix, and then not like showing up, right? People want to see Dillion Danis get his ass kicked so fucking bad that has a lot of value. That has a lot of value. When it gets announced that Logan Paul is fighting Dillion Danis, and if Dillion Danis doesn't back out, there will be people that buy this pay-per-view just to see Dillion Danis get his ass fucking kicked. Do you know how much fucking value is there? Like, there's a lot of
The whole
value there.
MMA community, which is millions or hundreds of thousands, will watch because they want to see Dillion get his ass kicked.
Yep. And then if Dillion somehow beats Logan Paul, if Dillion somehow beats Logan Paul, Dillion is going to be like a pay-per-view star because then they're going to make Dillion Danis fight a killer. All right. Because again, people want to see Dillion Danis get his ass kicked.
How does Dillion Danis and Logan Paul go? Surely Dillion will have been training all this time since the KSI one, boxing wise. Surely he's been.
Bro, I'm telling you this right now. I think Logan Paul is going to win.
Well, I think
really
that's most
do.
people's prediction, to be fair.
I think Logan Paul is going to win. I think people constantly forget what an athlete Logan Paul is. They just, you forget it. Like, go look at his fight with Floyd and go look at like a bunch of, you know, his fight with JJ. And that's why I put JJ on such a pedestal, is because he shouldn't have had a draw with Logan Paul. He shouldn't have beat Logan Paul. In no sense of the word. You know, there's people forget how athletic Logan Paul is. So I think Logan Paul is going to destroy Dillion Danis.
I think that's most people's opinion. I'd be very surprised if I interview anyone and they pick Dillion Danis to be Logan Paul. I wonder if I'll get a one-on-one interview of Dillion Danis. Because that will go viral, I reckon.
You want me to hit him up?
Well, do you think he would do it though? Because he doesn't like me. I've got no issue. I don't know why he doesn't like me, to be fair.
Is it because of the parking lot thing with Anthony Taylor?
Yeah, I reckon so. And then after he slapped, it got then as well. I was filming him leaving the arena after that little scuffle with KSI, and I was filming him, and then he slapped the phone in my hand, which could 500,000 views. So I do agree with you when he's saying he's a massive star. I mean, yeah, please hit him up, but I'll bet you money that he wouldn't show up for the interview.
What happened to Bradley Martyn?
This is another thing I want to ask you about, Keem. Bradley Martyn is a big star, going viral all over TikTok for the street fight, saying, "Would I beat this person?" Jake Paul offered him, was it $1 million to fight Mike Perry, the former UFC fighter?
Dude, I put you and Bradley Martyn in a text group chat and he didn't even respond. So then I was like, did he change his number? So I DM'd him on Twitter. He didn't even respond to that. What is going on with Bradley Martyn? Why is he ghosting everyone? That's so weird.
I didn't really appreciate you giving me his number, to be fair. Because I was in LA for a week. I called him a bunch of times, left messages, pestered the hell out of him, didn't get one response. And I was polite.
Unless he got mad at me and was like, why is Keemstar like linking me up with this, you know, reporter or something? But like, I would never take like an actual like mainstream reporter and link them up with an influencer, because I know how they operate. But we're talking about you, Fred. Like, you know, if I'm going to link a reporter, if you will, you know, with an influencer, I know they're good people and they're not going to be like, you know, hitting people up with like false rape allegations or something, you know, like.
And the interview probably would have done a few viral clips, because Bradley would have called a few people out, talk a bunch of trash on a few people. They'd respond, it'd all kind of blow up from there. So it's confusing. It would have helped Bradley as well, I reckon.
Yeah, that's weird. But I don't know what more I have for you, Fred, but all I know is this is the Super Bowl, people. October 14th. The prime card. This is the Super Bowl of influencer boxing, right? It can't be Jake Paul, can't be any of his events, because his undercard are pro fighters. All right. This is the Super Bowl of influencer boxing. Nothing will be like this. I guess maybe you could compare it to the Kingpin thing, but does Kingpin even have the pedigree, right? This October card has KSI, Logan Paul, the people that created influencer boxing. They're on the same card, and they're fighting real fighters. Tommy Fury, Dillion Danis. Bro, the whole undercard is going to be the fights that we're bagging to happen in this influencer boxing like space. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm so excited, Fred. However this card pans out to be, however my prelims pan out to be, every single fight is going to be amazing. It's going to be sick. And I don't think there'll be anything like this for a very long time.
It is a Super Bowl. That's quite a good way to put it. Does it do, one more question, does it do over 1 million pay-per-view buys? It must do.
If Jake Paul and Nate Diaz hits a million pay-per-view buys, which I think it did. I actually think it did. That's just look, I was looking at all the numbers. I'm running calculations in my head. I'm trying to figure out, they said that Jake and Nate made well into 8 figures. When someone says that, that means they just hit 8 figures. That means they would have hit like what, 10 million, 11 million each or something like that. Based on my calculations, if that is true, they probably hit close to 1 million pay-per-views on that event. I'm trying to get the numbers. We're still trying to get the numbers. Obviously, Happy Punch wants to put it out first. We don't have them, but we're running as many calculations as we can. If that's the case, and they did do that, then KSI, Logan Paul on the same card. Plus, look, you got Logan Paul, who's in the WWE. All right, so you got the WWE fan base. You got KSI, who runs all of Influencer UK, right? Then you have Dylan Danis, who's got the fight community, and there's a big draw for him. Plus, you had Tommy Fury related to the heavyweight championship. Is he even the heavyweight championship of the world right now?
His brother is, which means Tyson Fury will be there.
Okay, yeah.
Bring the boxing
right?
audience.
So it's like, bro, there's so many layers to this co-main
Jake
event.
Paul will be there as well. Jake Paul's going to be there ringside.
Jake Paul will be there, all right? And then you have an undercard. You have an undercard, and none of this has been announced, but you have an undercard of all the Misfit fights that we want to see, that all the ones that could headline themselves are going to be on this. So when you ask me, can this hit 1 million pay-per-view? Yes. Yes, dude. Yes. And I think the way this has been set up, I think that this is the pay-per-view that can easily ask for Jake Paul pay-per-view numbers. So like, I think in America, I think it could easily be $60. I know the UK, you guys don't do any pay-per-views over 20, right?
Yeah, £20 is the most. That's like $25.
Yeah, so I think it'll be £20, maybe even a little bit higher. And I think in Australia, I think they do $30 or something like that. I think this is going to be your typical Jake Paul pay-per-view numbers will be on this Prime card.
I reckon it can do 1.5 million. I reckon that'll be the number. That's my prediction. But then fight will blow up as well.
It will clear 1 million. But I'm telling you right now, this Nate Diaz Jake Paul thing did better than
if Nate Diaz and Jake Paul did 1 million. I mean, credit to Nikiska, credit to Jake. That's incredible.
I think it did. What do you think it did?
I reckon it did 700,000.
I think they actually hit 1 million. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong, but we'll have to wait to find out.
Certainly. Awesome. I'll see you in October then, Keem. A little bit of time, but I'm sure we'll probably do another one of these on Zoom before then. But thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beck.